Hey, have you ever just stopped and wondered why so much of life feels, well, like a business? You know, why we're always being told to invest in ourselves, build our personal brand, compete in the marketplace of everything. Well, that feeling, it's not just in your head. There's a huge idea behind it, a whole framework that shaped our world in some really deep ways. So today, let's dive in and really unpack what we mean when we say neoliberalism. Yeah, it really all starts with this question, doesn't it? Because it feels like everywhere you look, the logic of the market is just there. It's not just about, buying and selling stuff anymore. This way of thinking has kind of crept into almost every single corner of our society, and it's totally reshaping things we never, ever would have thought of as a market. Okay, just think about education. How often do we hear that it's not really about learning for its own sake, but it's an investment in your future earning potential? And student debt? Well, that's just the upfront capital you need to get started. Sound familiar? Or what about housing? For so many of us, a home has gone from being, a place to live, a place to put down roots, to being a financial asset. It's something you leverage for profit on the real estate market. And then there's this, which is maybe the weirdest part of all. Our own selves have become a project. We're supposed to manage our personal brand, optimize our productivity, market ourselves 24/7, basically act like we're a tiny corporation. And the kicker? If you struggle, if you can't keep up, well, that's framed as your personal failure. So, okay, this feeling we've been talking about, it's not just you. It's real. And it's rooted in a really powerful political and economic framework. Let's move past just the feeling and actually define the big idea that's driving all of this. And that idea is called neoliberalism. So what is it, really? At its heart, it's an ideology that says society works best when three things happen. Markets are as free as possible, the government gets out of the way, and each of us as individuals is responsible for making it on our own through our choices in that market. Now, this is a really, really important point. Neoliberalism isn't just capitalism, plain and simple. It's a very specific flavor of it. It was a huge pivot away from what came before, the post-war welfare state. That model with strong unions, lots of public services, and more government planning. Neoliberalism basically said, no, let's go the other way, championing privatization, deregulation, and free trade above all else. I mean, that's a massive shift in thinking, right? And it definitely didn't happen overnight. So where did this incredibly powerful idea even come from? How did it get to be so, dominant? Well, the ideas were kind of bubbling under the surface for decades, but they really got their big break during the economic crises of the 1970s. That chaos created a perfect opening for political leaders like Margaret Thatcher in the UK and Ronald Reagan in the US to come in and say, we have a new way. They put these policies into action in the 80s, and from there, the model just spread like wildfire across the globe. And the intellectual groundwork, the big ideas behind it all, they were laid by thinkers like Friedrich Hayek, who basically argued that markets are way smarter than governments at organizing society. And you had Milton Friedman, who famously connected economic freedom directly to political freedom. For them, any kind of government intervention wasn't just inefficient, it was actually dangerous. Okay, but as you can probably guess, this whole idea is, let's just say it's not universally loved. In fact, when you look at neoliberalism, there are two completely different, totally opposing stories about what it is and what it's done. And this really lays out that divide perfectly. On one side, you have the supporters. They say neoliberalism is fantastic. It unleashes efficiency, innovation, and massive economic growth. For them, it's the recipe for freedom. But on the other side, you have the critics. And they say, hold on a second. They argue it's led to skyrocketing inequality, it's crushed the power of workers, and it's created a system that really only benefits a tiny group of economic elites. The geographer David Harvey, for one, puts the critique really bluntly. He says, look, this was never just about making markets more efficient. He sees it as a straight-up political project designed to do one thing: restore class power by shifting wealth and influence upwards, away from ordinary people and into the hands of the rich. So the whole debate, all of it really boils down to one simple question. Neoliberalism talks a lot about freedom, but the critics ask, freedom for whom? Is it freedom for corporations to operate without rules? Or is it freedom for regular people to live a secure and dignified life? And, well, the answer you get really depends on who you're talking to. But look, this isn't just some abstract academic debate. These big ideas and policies have a huge, real-world impact on our daily lives. So let's bring it down from the 30,000-foot view and see how this framework actually reshapes our everyday reality. Let's go back to the housing example. The older welfare state way of thinking might see housing as a basic social need. That would lead you to policies like public housing or rent regulation. But the neoliberal approach? It sees housing first and foremost as a financial asset. And that one simple shift completely transforms it from a home into just another commodity to be bought and sold. And this way of thinking also changes how we see ourselves. It pushes us to think less like a citizen, a member of a community with shared rights and responsibilities, and instead it encourages us to be a consumer, an individual whose main job is to make choices in the marketplace. You see this logic completely reshaping the world of work, too. The ideal worker today is supposed to be flexible, entrepreneurial, always hustling. But the flip side of that is that job insecurity is now just normal. All that big life risk, getting laid off, getting sick, not having enough for retirement, that stuff used to be shared between employers and the government. Now, it's all on you. So, why does any of this matter? What's the big deal? Well, it's because the deepest, most profound effect of this market mindset goes way beyond just dollars and cents. Because once you get your head around neoliberalism, it's like a key that unlocks so many other things. Suddenly you can connect the dots. The student debt crisis, the insane cost of housing, the rise of gig work, that relentless pressure to build your brand. They stop looking like a bunch of random separate problems. You start to see them as symptoms of the exact same underlying logic. But if you take away just one single thing, let it be this. The absolute deepest effect of neoliberalism is how it makes massive, system-wide social problems feel like your personal failure. Can't afford a house? You didn't save hard enough. Crushed by debt? You must have made bad choices. Burned out from work? You just need better self-care. It takes the focus off the system and puts it all on you. And that, right there, brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. Once you can see the rules of the game, once you understand how this framework operates, you can stop just asking, how do I win within the system? And you can start asking a much bigger, much more fundamental question. Why does so much of our life have to be organized like a market in the first place? And what could it look like if it wasn't?